All right, so this is going to be the first like official podcast of Topics on the Edge. I am extremely excited right now. I get to talk to a guy that I've been following since the very beginning of my stock trading journey, and I know him as Meta in a lot of the Discord chats that you're in with stock trading. But my friend Mike, he's in Australia right now, and we're just going to kind of dive into the trading lifestyle and talk about a couple of world events and just have a casual conversation. So thank you very much,
Well,
Mike, for joining me, man. I am super excited.
good to be here, and yeah, really happy to be able to help you out and be a part of this, bro.
Yeah, I like I said, I had kind of an idea of how I wanted to grow this show, but then I realized when I started reaching out to everybody that most of the people that I actually know don't live in America. And so I was like, all right, well, I got probably like five or six people that don't live in America. And so like the whole thing that kind of sparked my thing was a lot of the issues that are going on in America. And then, you know, it also kind of connects to the stock trading world. And so it just kind of I was like, well, I'm just gonna wing it and kind of see how it goes and talk to you about like your experience with we kind of touched base last time and you explained how the world scene kind of looks at America and all that kind of stuff, and I thought it was an
Yeah,
interesting point of view. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about wherever you want to take things.
all right. Well, so to start off, I really liked your take on the stock trading thing, and I'm going to be sharing this in a couple of stock trading rooms. And I've talked to you, and I've talked to a few people that have like actually made it in stock trading, and it's like you have
Yeah,
this fake world where it's like Lamborghinis and women run around in bikinis and trading off of a laptop by a
right.
swimming pool, and it's like. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not real, you know?
yeah. Professional marketing.
Yeah. So since like at least from my perspective, like you're definitely like I mean you're trading full time, so you're living the dream that these guys are all
Yeah,
chasing. So what's that life actually like really look like for you?
trading time. Yeah, I've been trading full time for about 3 or 4 years now. Um, I actually I started trading full time just before COVID. Although I didn't know COVID was coming, right?
Oh
I basically I was trading part time. I was in a pretty good job, pretty well paid job in sales, and I actually got made redundant from that job. And then at the time, I kind of weighed things up and thought, well, this is an opportunity. I've got to pay out and whatnot, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of give things a crack, and just go trading full time. And as you know, or you may know, I was trading small caps at the time. I was in J Trader's room. We had a really nice run in COVID because of all the liquidity that came into the market, right? I don't know if you remember, like,
no,
was
I
it
don't.
2020?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's when I did the best in trading. I thought I could go full time and I didn't have to
yeah,
expense it. And
you could make like there were like numerous gappers every day, and everything's like 9 out of 10 of them just seemed to fade. And
yeah.
yeah, it was a good time for shorting small caps, man. And at the time, I was trading like kind of day one, shorting day one gappers and trading and also shorting intraday parabolics,
Okay.
which I kind of the day one gappers was stuff that I learned from J Trader and the guys in that room
Uh-huh.
predominantly. And then the intraday parabolics was more my own. I know a lot of people were doing it, but I developed my own scans for it on trade ideas.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of identify them, and I had like an alert system set up. And I used to trade at the time. They were just popping off, man, and we had loads of these stocks just ripping and just dying intraday. It was a great time. So yeah, that was then. Since then, I've changed a lot. Like I still trade small caps, but not really, not a lot, to be honest, man. I don't trade catalyst like day one plays anymore. I don't short a great deal, and now my style is much more. I trade. I kind of day slash swing trade mostly to the long side. I'd say I'm about 80% long,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I just try to. In a nutshell, I buy pullbacks in strong moving names.
So
That's what
so
I do.
are you trading like using like EMAs, or are you going off of like supply and demand levels? Like how, because I follow you on X, and so I saw like the transition for sure, because like I said, when I first started, like I remember you've traded extensions, which is
Yeah, yeah,
like what I that's I love, like it's the excitement from it too, though, and it's like,
yeah.
and you make a shit ton of money too. So those are
And
always.
you right or wrong really fucking quick.
Yeah, well, so so back to like you were talking about, like, 2020, like really I made more money trading stocks than I did my full-time job, and like that was right at the end of my kickboxing career. And so I was like, well, man, I've been killing it. I was like, I didn't
Yeah,
listen to I didn't listen to the advice of anybody else, and like that's like that inexperienced dumbass that, like,
yeah.
you just dived in, and I was just like, oh,
You
this.
hit a hot market, didn't know what you didn't know, and you were like, hey,
Yeah,
this is like brilliant, man.
yeah,
Like I made loads of money.
yeah. And so I yeah, man, like like that was kind of my story. And like I kind of our previous talk about, like, I believe that trading stocks is, it's such a mental thing. And like if you don't, for
Yeah,
me, like what makes me trade good, like, can be completely different than you. Like you,
yeah,
man, like that's gonna be so difficult trading stocks over in Australia. Like your time zone, and like I don't know if I, like, really, I don't know if
yeah.
I can do it.
It's hard, bro. And to be honest, that's like one of the main things that's influenced my style
Yeah.
because I was limited. I was like, like I just realized I'm not going to be sharp at 5 in the morning. It's like A, yeah, I'm tired, but B, like I think the emotional build up just affects you more as well when it's like the middle of the night and you're tired, and like it's just, and that was one of the main reasons I changed my style because I wanted to really simplify what I do. Like one was figuring out my strengths. Like I'm pretty good at analysis, I think. I really enjoyed all the analysis and the testing and stuff like that, and figuring out my setups. But to be honest, man, like there's definitely people out there who are better at executing than me. Most people are probably like I can. It's not to say sometimes I execute well, but there were so many times where like I would be let down because of my lack of ability to execute consistently, if you know what I mean, on like these more kind of discretionary style strategies, Like on a good day, it would look great, and I chuck my charts on X, and everyone's like, "Oh, sick trade, bro," and all that shit. But like realistically, there was so many days where I just kind of I'd just take unnecessary losses, or I'd start like attacking. My weak point was maybe like attacking a name that I was like, oh, this has got to go down, and I'd start like, I'd take paper cuts, like I'd take a loss, I'd take a loss, I'd take, and sometimes I'd end up down like, three, four, five, and sometimes many more R's,
Yeah.
um, just kind of attacking a stock that really, when you look back at the end of the day and you go, why the hell was I even thinking about shorting that? Right, we've all done it.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of so yeah, like I was, I was making money, and sometimes, I'd get some great trades as well. But then there was a lot of I got a bit I got a bit fed up with the inconsistency, and so I started like kind of reviewing what I was doing and how I was approaching the markets, and ultimately for me, given my time zone and given my skill set, I found that doing more planning and more analysis and trying to simplify the execution as much as I could was a better outcome for me. And over the long run, it just my P&L curve is, you know, more stable when I trade that way.
Yeah.
I actually think there's like, I don't think there's that many people who are, you know, capable of long-term profitability trading from an extremely discretionary approach. I could be wrong, but I haven't, you know, out of all the profitable traders that I've met over the years, you know, who I know are profitable, that there's, you know, most of them have at least some degree of systems in place, or quite a lot of system. Even the guys you think are discretionary have quite a lot of system in place to enable them to trade those setups, whether that's kind of having back tested it, or having like specific scans that they've set up that will alert them to very, very kind of niche setups, you know,
Yeah.
rather than just rocking up and saying, "Oh, this has gone up. Let's you know, let's short it, or let's long this," you know.
Yeah, see, like that was kind of my problem at the very beginning. Is I was 100% discretionary, and I didn't even know what back testing was until like when I was in J Trader's mentoring group. Like I learned a lot, but I was brand new, and I didn't have a lot of like I did all the work, but I didn't understand like why we were doing the work. You know what I mean? And so like I never did like the back testing. Then I followed this guy. His name's JJ Fade 23, and
Yeah, I know him. Oh, I know of him. Yeah,
and so I saw he was him and this guy named Laser Wolf, which is he's going to be on my podcast later too. But I joined their room and all they talked about was back testing. They showed us exactly how they ran their scans, like how they back tested strategies and stuff. And like it was really funny because that was like one of the first rooms I went to besides J Traders, and like how similar the playbooks are for small
yeah,
cap. Like, but like that's the thing that like I feel like that's like the missing component. I feel like is they're all so similar, but like they're completely different. Like because it's like sometimes I would trade a stock, I'd kill it, and it would be 100% against the rules, but like everyone would be cheering for it. And you're like, oh sweet, I did it. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't have traded that, dude. Like that was a
yeah,
100% like boredom trade, or like that was not in the rule set, or like institutional ownership's too high, like float's too low, like whatever it is. And like for me, the second I break the rule, like even a little bit, one time, like the next 2 or 3 days, I am just like I'm like a hot mess, dude. Like I get super emotional and like it just like and it's usually I notice I have patterns. Like I'll do like I'll get onto a hot streak and I'll just start killing it. And then I'll get like super like overconfident and cocky and just and then like I'll have a horrible like usually generally it starts with a max loss day and I'm like no, like I got it tomorrow. I'm still confident. And I go in there and like I push it a little bit too hard even if there isn't a trade that I should be taking. I do it, and then it kicks my ass, and then I start getting stubborn and I fight it, and then that's when
mm,
stupid shit happens. But it's like you start figuring that out, and like the more traders I start talking to, like the things that held you back at the very beginning of your trading, I feel like they might be similar to me in certain areas, but like why you do it, like that really sparked an interest in me, like understanding people's thought process and kind of why I got
yeah,
into this podcast because I like to talk to people and pick their brain and like
yeah.
why do you think the way you do and how'd you have you worked through
Yeah.
issues?
And everyone's individual, aren't they? And I think that's why, like blanket, you know, when people just give blanket trading advice out,
Yeah.
like it does fucking, it's no fucking use to you because, you know, maybe I'm a guy who, you know, I might tell you, oh, you know, make sure you lock your profits in and whatnot, and don't, you know, because my problem is that I let stuff run up and then round trip for a loss. but
Yeah.
maybe your problem got profits in too quick. So that advice is useless to you. You know, like everyone has their own patterns of things they screw up. And I think it's about identifying what those patterns are, what those strengths and weaknesses are, and then developing a system that will play to those strengths and really kind of eliminate those weaknesses or as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
For me, it was understanding that, you know, even though, you know, on a good day, you know, I could do all that stuff. I could trade discretionary, I could read the tape, I could time order flow and all that kind of stuff. Like on a good day, brilliant. But I couldn't do it, I couldn't do that, you know, 200, 250 days a year consistently. And what I was finding was that on the bad days, it was just giving me, you know, my P&L was too swingy, you know, and then you hit a bad run and, you know, like you said, and you know, I think that the major challenge with like more fully discretionary trading is like it's great when things go well, but when things don't go well, that's when it's a problem because you don't have your systems and your rules to fall back on, and you're making all these on the fly decisions in a emotionally charged state, you know. So, you know, everyone's good. Like it's easy to manage your emotions when you're, you know, winning, right?
Well,
But when that's when it's hard and that's when you need it most, and I think that's what most people find difficult. So I kind of gravitated towards, you know, the system I've developed for myself now, which actually uses a lot of the same concepts as, you know, I've taken concepts from everywhere. Like I've taken from JTrader with the moving average stuff, and I use them in my own way. I've taken stuff from, you know, I've studied people like Christian Koulibaly and Pradeep, who are like the swing trade guys, right? You know, and what they do. And I've kind of developed a bit of a style of my own from all this mash of different things that suits me. So that the you know the kind of hold time suits me. The you know and ultimately I kind of play. I really execute now. I'll only have a one or two stabs at something like so. I've got my signal. I get in, I chuck my stop in, and then I kind of leave it, you know. And yeah, like things go back on me sometimes, but taking out all that decision making process is nice, you know. And
takes out the emotion
yeah,
too.
it takes out the emotion a lot. It enables me to, you know, I guess put more. And I think the other thing is when you simplify your process and when you've tested it a bit, is you can put more size on. Like I don't know, like for me, like some people have just got massive balls and they can like scalp around with huge size. Like for me, I'll just like once I start sizing up heavy on like very discretionary kind of style, I just kind of I screwed. Yeah, I watch the ticks and you know, I'll take profit soon and I might, you know, cut things that I shouldn't and all that kind of stuff. So I
Yeah,
find it's easy.
the P&L messes with your head. Like you start seeing this, you're like, oh my gosh, dude, that's like well, at least for me, like you know, like I said, you know, uh, I'm not a full-time trader or anything like that. But like when I could see that I was making more money in like 30 minutes than I needed for my whole month, like living, I was just like that. I wasn't ready for that kind of. I was like I'd start freaking out, and it's like I would take profit because I was using way too much size, way too much size. But like, especially for
Yeah,
my skill, like that's also why when things went bad, like you're saying, like they got real bad. It's like, oh,
yeah. It's like I think people who don't haven't traded like for a living or even like, you know, part time, it's very hard to explain to them like the emotional swings that we all go through. And I haven't met anyone, you know, I've met quite a few traders. I haven't met anyone who doesn't go through that shit. You know, like so the lows can be, you know, really crushing, especially because I think a lot of us, especially like when you know, if and when you go full time, like it's very easy to wrap up a lot of your ego and self esteem into your trading outcomes,
yeah,
which is why I think it's really important, definitely in the beginning, to have, you know, And for a long time to have either another job or another source of income, and also like other interests and stuff like that, like things that you enjoy in life and that you can feel good about that aren't associated with trading. Because if you wrap up your whole kind of value in your trading outcomes, it can be a really real roller coaster of a life.
Yeah, like well, that was another bad thing. Like I was making a lot of money, and then my dog passed away like at the same time like that I transitioned to I moved away, and then I tried going full time, and like but that's what I mean. For me, it's like my whole life has to be balanced. Like if
Yeah,
something's like that's really because of trading, I feel like helped me find out who I am, and like it made me like I can sense them. Like if somebody says something to me that pisses me off, or like I get super excited about something, like emotions that I felt in trading, like I recognize that now, like in everyday life, and I'm like, why am I feeling like that? And I'm like, oh, okay, like or like I'll get anxious or like all sorts of shit. Like when I was buying my first house, selling my first house, then buying another house, like real estate was like a different way for me to experience that. And so I got interested in real estate, but like for some reason the numbers are so big in real estate that like it's made me like I can see the same stuff, but like it makes me calm down. For some reason, if I trade like a penny stock and it's a $2 stock, I'm like, you know, 2,000 shares. Let's no, it's fine. It's
yeah,
nothing. And it's like, no, dude,
yeah.
that's a lot if you don't if you don't cover where you're supposed to, and what's your risk
Yeah.
reward, and so much shit goes into it. Like,
So much, man, and like yeah, and also with the like small caps, it's got so small caps, mid caps, like they all come with their own challenges, don't they?
yeah,
I think the attraction certainly with small caps is that you can, if you've got a reasonably small account, because these things make like 50, 100% moves and stuff like that, you can load up a small account on a $2 name
yeah.
and you can have a four-figure day, right? With a 5K or 10K account, which is, yeah, it's pretty insane. But so I think that's the big attraction. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, yeah, a lot of you can end up, certainly taking larger losses than your initial risk would suggest. You know, if you're long, you go long and quite you get situations, don't you, where they'll just like pull the bids and wash through support, and you're like, oh shit, I was risking
Yeah,
5 cents and a 20-cent loss.
yeah,
And when you get caught, if you're playing, unless you're playing like wide stops like the systems guys, you get caught in like a upside halt, and that can change your whole day, can't it?
yeah. Well, like and like you were saying in our previous conversation, like you're not in any trading rooms right now, and like for me, like when you talk about small caps, like that was the thing that like at the very beginning of my trading that really screwed me up, because then you would have like 300 people in there, and like everyone sees something, and like on those days where there isn't like like the hot chick stock or whatever, and like like I would get in a mode where I'm like, oh, what's that stock name? Okay, oh, I can see, like like I like it's like I can almost like make a trade, and like that was like one of the things at the very beginning for me where
And
it
even worse when you like you're trading for a living, I guess, and that's your only
yeah,
source of income, because you turn up and you go, oh, okay, well, I've got to, in your head, like your mindset is, oh, I should trade today. I should, and so if there's no strong setups, especially early on, I find you find yourself just kind of looking, oh, what's this? What's that? Is this kind of, And I think that's why it helps as well, just having some kind of hard set rules. But also, like, I found the longer I traded, and when I've had periods of most success in trading has been when really I've been looking just to trade one, maximum two setups, and if it's there, it's there, and if it's not, it's not. And rather than just having a big watch list and kind of looking at everything, just like being okay, this is what I think there's so much value in specializing in
Like
trading.
mastering one thing instead of being like
Not
a
just
all
one thing,
trade.
like recording recording all your trades and looking at basically what works for you. Hey, what do I make money on? Okay, well let's just focus on that, you know, and going like super granular and just like looking at picking like one setup that maybe works the best for you, but looking at it every single nuance and kind of going forensic on the charts, right? And so,
Yeah.
okay, well, this one worked. Why did this one work? This one didn't work, and kind of batching them and looking like I think it's those subtle kind of things that um, are going to really improve like your ability to play that setup profitably.
When you started transitioning into going full time, like what did that look like for you? Like you hear these guys saying like, have like 6 months of like living expenses covered,
Mm.
like did you have like a certain size? Like how long did you track your P&L curve, like your average
Yeah,
days, all that kind of stuff?
so it might have been a bit different for me, and probably like if I'm completely honest, I probably went full time too early. The main thing for me is that I was in a pretty good, well paid job, and I had this trading on the side hustle. When I got made redundant, I got a payout. Realistically, like if I hadn't have got made redundant like that, I probably wouldn't have gone full time, man. Like I don't think I was like, it's not like my P&L curve was saying, "Hey, this is yeah, like let's go." It was more a case of I had an opportunity and I had a bunch of money behind me that I could, even if I didn't make any money for like a year, I was still going to be comfortable, like paying rent and living expenses and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I didn't worry about that. So um, it wasn't that much of a consideration for me at that time. But if I was going to, in hindsight, if I was going to, give a recommendation on, hey, when do you go full time? Yeah, I'd say, have enough money behind you that you can not make money for 6 months and still be sweet. Big enough trading account, so you don't want to be like having stresses about, last thing you want is to be worrying about paying the bills and giving yourself like no kind of cushion, you know. And also, I just, like you want to be like in a situation where you're consistently profitable and you you know you can be confident enough that even if the market conditions change, you're going to have a playbook that's going to allow for you to still make money if you need to in those market conditions, to cover you over.
I was actually just about to ask you that because like you'll go through like the market has cycles and stuff. So like how do you personally deal with that? Like so you have like certain strategies that you can pretty much make money in any market? Like
Yeah, so and look, to be honest, mate, I mean, coming from a discretionary background like you, that's kind of one of the things I'm still working on at the moment, like testing the systems that I play at the moment in maybe like bear markets, for example. Because at the moment, like obviously for some time now, we've been in a pretty strong bull market,
yeah.
right? Where setups alongside tend to work pretty well. Um, and I'm still going through some of that testing at the moment. I think, you know, when you the shorter term your hold time, the less um, impacted by market conditions you're going to be, right? Because I think, like let's say if you're like an investor, then and you're trying to buy and hold stocks, then yeah, you're going to trade like shit in a bear market. If you're a swing trader and you're holding for 2 3 weeks, you might still be pretty bad in a bear market. But if you're maybe someone like me who looks for something that's had a strong move, pulled back, and then rip again, like all I need is a 1 day move, you know.
That makes sense.
So even in let's say weak or bear markets, you're still going to get stocks that are going to you know, do put in strong 1 day moves, and that's all I need.
So
So
I've cut you off like at the very beginning. Like, so are you trading mostly off of like supply and demand, or are you using EMAs? So
so
like your pullback, like how does that all work?
I do use EMAs. So and again, like, so I use the daily. First of all, I use the daily, and that's been probably the biggest change since moving from small caps to like mid caps. Is that now I'm not playing catalyst plays essentially, i.e., like big morning gap and then try and fade it. I'm looking at my initial screen is to look for stocks which are strong on the daily. So a couple of things I look at would be percent change in 10, 20, 30 days. And then I'll look for also the daily EMAs. And I use the 20 SMA, the 10 SMA, and the 5 EMA
Uh-huh.
to gauge trend, if you like.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of these do is they'll have a strong move up, they'll pull into the short term moving averages, and then they'll maybe make another.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah, I do use support and resistance and short term moving averages as well. But I don't like buy off them. I don't use moving average like, oh, when this crosses that, then it's a buy. Like, it's more to gauge. I use them to gauge short-term trend, and yeah, I just use them as a guide, if you like,
Okay. Yeah, I
as
mean
opposed
that makes sense. It's like I mean, like everyone has their own style, and it's interesting listening to you because it's like I've had a lot of conversations with other traders, and it's like I can see like bits and pieces of like conversations that I have with them, like mixed in with you, and it's interesting how everybody kind of finds their own thing. I remember I worked with Steve Goldstein, and he was my mind
to. Oh
coach
yeah,
for a while, and he would talk about these phenomenal traders and they'd be at a brokerage firm and people would like be trying to like look over and he's like one guy he's like oh huge yeah come on over you can watch everything I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do this and everything and he's like I don't care because you can't trade like me. Nobody can
yeah,
trade like me. This is me. It's like art. It is kind of like the way I look at it. Like everyone has something that they see different and they
yeah,
they have a different read and some people can like for me I'm not a scalper at all. Like which is like kind of what I was doing with like I use J traders, J lines and stuff like that, but I use them for like targets and like what percentages like does this hit and like but like one thing I started noticing was that like the higher time frame J line like gets hit like
mm,
like 5% less than like the first target, but like if you would just hold
mm,
to that, you're making like an extra like 30 cents on each share. And it's like, that's not a lot when you're trading with like, 100 shares, but you trade with like 2,000 shares. It's like, all right, dude, like
start,
that. I mean,
man.
that's a week's worth of pay right there. And like, it's kind of like what you said, like where you don't need to trade every single day like that. Feel like that was such a hard thing for me to grasp because like I felt
Mm,
like I was going to the computer thing and like clocking in. I have to trade today. But like when I finally it was like, nah, nothing looks good. Clock like turn off the computer and like for me I have to get away. Because
yeah,
if there wasn't something that I saw like around like 8 o'clock that I was like I could absolutely trade this in like these two scenarios, then I have to get away because like honestly I turn into like a crackhead. Like
yeah.
I'm like sitting over
Start,
here like scratching and feeding. I'm like I gotta trade something. It's like then
yeah.
then it
And it's
doesn't
like it's
work.
like isn't the difference between seeing the trade and looking for the trade? You
Yeah,
know,
it's
on
completely
on a,
different.
on on a good day when shit's setting up, you look at your charts and you just see the trade. You go, okay, this makes sense to me. Like whether
Yeah,
I'm going to long or I'm going to.
Like it has to
And
get here.
if you find yourself looking through your watch list or your scan or whatever, however you're set up, and you go through 70% of the tickers, and you're like, none of them really, none of them really fit. Then maybe it's a day that is not gonna pan out. I actually really only had, what did I have? I had 3 trades yesterday, but realistically, like the one that I really liked was the one that made money.
Money, yeah.
And it was the only thing that was setting up, and I went, yeah, it ticks all the boxes, right? And that was a long trade on a Luna, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw. I think it's actually today. Like you took. Well, I guess the time zone is different. Like
I,
that
yeah,
might
it
have
was
been
like,
your yeah, yeah. Okay, so like you still have a piece of one of them that is in after hours, right? Like there was like
yeah, I trimmed a bit in after hours because basically because I'm in Australia, right? So
yeah,
like I found that yeah, like I just want to be able to like, and that's what I'm saying, like with the active management for me as well. Which in an ideal world, I'd just sit there and scout bits off into extensions and recycle into dips and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, one, it kind of complicates stuff, and I can go wrong doing that. It just adds more layers of complexity to what I do. And two, it means I've got to sit up all night and watch it, right? And then I don't mind doing that, but then my sleep's fucked. And then the next day, from experience, I know the next day I'm going to be coming to the market tired, and that's going to be more opportunity to make bad decisions. So that's why actually you'll see me at the moment. I'm like, I'll take a position in the morning. I'll take a bit off maybe into morning strength, and then I'll just leave it. And actually, I'll come back. At the like after hours, if there's enough liquidity, I'll scalp a little bit out if I've had a strong close or whatever, and then looking to the next day to see if I can get a continuation or to see if I need to trail my stop.
so I mean, like you're actually having like regular hours, like with the way you're trading, you're able to have like a normal life over in Australia and still be able to make trading work. Then is kind of how
Yeah,
I'm.
reasonably normal. I mean, I've done a lot of work to build a system that I can work and without kind of just without A, screwing it up, or B, just completely ruining the rest of my life.
So like do you plan like for like long term, do you plan on staying in Australia? Because I know you're from UK originally,
Yeah,
right? And then
yeah,
you also go to Thailand and you'll stay in Thailand. Like is that just like a vacation spot for you or like
yeah. I spent a bit of time in Thailand. I was living there for a few months last year. The time zone's a bit more favourable.
yeah.
You know, Stuff doesn't cost much, and US dollar goes a long way against the baht.
Yeah.
I actually went this year to catch up with a couple of trading buddies. Um, One of my
Yeah.
mates,
I saw you met up with what the hell's that guy's name? Uh
day trading.
Day Trading Zoo or something like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Glenn, who
Cool.
I met. He's a good guy, man. Shout, Glenn. I met him a few years ago. Just happened like I was traveling around, and I like to connect with traders, because
Yeah.
um, that's the other thing. Like I don't think I represent the typical trader in terms of personality and mindset. My finding has been that a lot of I think the best suited people to trading are probably much more introvert than I am. I like to because of the nature of the job, right? Just sitting on your own in front of a screen, just you doing your own thing, and I'm more of an extrovert, and I like to connect with people. Um, so yeah,
I would guess
yeah, I was out there.
that would tie in with me too because I'm definitely not an introvert.
That's what you're doing. Well, you're probably doing podcasts and shit, man, because you have a desire to connect. You want to trade, but you also want to connect with people, and you like to, share ideas and go out and be part of a team and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'd like to take a second to thank our sponsors, Traders Edge Academy. They have a free community on the school platform that goes over the 3 pillars of trading: the technical pillar, the performance pillar, and the self pillar. They guide you on your journey in trading and give you absolutely everything you need to become a profitable trader. If you're interested at all, click the link in the description and follow to their page. I don't know, for me, like it kind of went into like I was a kickboxer before I started doing any of this kind of stuff, and so for me, I was like a machine, dude. Like I was like I had no feelings, I had no emotions. I went in there, I whooped somebody's ass, I got out, went back to the gym,
Yeah.
did all the training, went and did it again. Like once I started trading stocks, I would screw up all the time, and Jay would always be like, you know, you need to work on this emotion or that emotion or this emotion. I'm like, dude, what the hell is that? Like, what's with all these damn emotions, man? Like, just
Yeah.
like, how do I trade, dude? Just like, and like, then it made me kind of dissect myself because I fell in love with trading, and I was like, well, everybody I talked to, they're like, dude, like you are disciplined, like you come from kickboxing, but like you don't understand yourself. You need like you
Mm.
don't understand who you are. Like you're gonna screw things up. And then it made me kind of find myself in fighting, and I started doing really good in fighting. I was like, oh shit,
Okay, cool.
yeah, maybe there's something to this. And then it kind of, then like right when COVID hit, or right before COVID, I got with Steve Goldstein, and that was like, that dude is absolutely incredible. Like that, like really thanks to that guy, I feel like I know who I am, and like that guy was so impactful to my life. But
Mm.
like it made me, I don't know, it sparked something in my head, and I was just like, I don't know. I wonder if other people are having problems with their emotions or like all this kind of stuff. And I started making all this shit, and like I made this thing is like a mini series called "Living the Dream" when I lived in Florida. And dude,
Yeah.
I had so many people messaging me. They're like, "Dude, your videos like it hit. Like I felt it. Like it clicked with me." And I was like, man, I don't know. I like to, like in the very beginning, I felt very insecure about like throwing myself out there, but like at the end of the day, like it doesn't really matter. Like we're all gonna die anyways. Like I mean, what the hell does it matter? Like just be who you
You're
are,
gonna
you know?
die anyway, and exactly.
And
And
so
like
I just
you always scrutinize it more than anyone else will, right? The
oh,
reality is 99.
exactly.
You know, with me and you might sit here and think, oh no, did I come across okay, or did I say this, did I say that? 99% of people really don't give a shit. They're just not paying attention, you know?
Yeah. Well, like what sparked my idea for this was like I started seeing when COVID happened, I got into politics for the first time in my life. And it was really crazy because I don't know how things are, you know, in Australia or the UK or whatever, but like over here, like really like in America, like if you're more Democrat or liberal, and like your family's all Republican or whatever, like it's almost like you can't be like family or friends, or like it's like you can't like
Yeah.
just talk to people because you got a different point of view. And so like for me, I was just like, I don't get that, because like almost every single topic that you can talk about, like for me, like so many people see black and white, but for me, I see gray. Like I'm like, I can
Yeah.
totally see where that person is coming from. It's like I could almost put myself in their shoes. Some of them I wish I wouldn't put myself in their shoes, but I'm like, I can kind of see where they're coming from, you know? And it's like, I don't know, like it made me want to have. I started hearing so many people be like, "Oh man, he went to the wrong team," or this person like they have such wrong views. I like this person except for they're for guns, or they're for trans, or they're for they're racist, or like all this crazy shit. I'm just like, why don't you just talk to them and have a conversation, and not put like the biggest thing about like that I hate in America is like I feel like everybody's pushing a agenda, and like when you try to
Mm.
push a agenda, like that's just some fake shit, dude. Nobody wants to hear that. Like just
Yeah.
have a
I'm I'm
conversation.
I'm pretty wary of anyone who's like extreme, either right or left.
Yeah.
And you can apply that to any situation. You've got the people extreme on religions stuff, people extreme, political views. With the whole COVID thing, you had the extreme fucking vaxxers and the extreme anti-vaxxers, and I'm like, man, you know what? Yeah, it's weird. Like, I think one of the biggest challenges, to be honest, mate, is that I feel like the advent of social media has really what happens now is that you come up with a view, right? And you log on to your social media channels and they'll just feed you a load of information that ultimately probably confirms your view or supports your view because they know that's how to increase engagement, or they'll send you a load of like controversial stuff to drive engagement. And I think, we've ended up with people with just these really, really strong viewpoints on stuff that really they don't know much about.
You know,
Um,
it was
what
fun. My like I was talking to my brother earlier today because who the hell was I watching? I was watching this there's a guy that's running for presidency. He's RFK, and like he's
Oh yeah,
more in the
I
middle.
saw you were trying. I saw you
Huh?
were trying to get him on your podcast on X the other
Dude,
day.
I'm dead serious. Like I really am. I'm like, hey man, like I mean he says he's for the people, so I'm like, hey, all right, let's see it. Like
I mean, it'll be hard to top me as a guest, but if you can get him, I'd say he's at least on par with getting me on.
yeah, I agree, man. Like I like I'm trying to talk to celebrities, man.
Yeah, bro, you got to start somewhere, mate.
I don't know. Like I figure out, but it goes back to my thing, dude. Is like, what does it matter? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm like, I'm never gonna get a reply. Like, okay, like I tried, so like whatever. But like, it was crazy because he had a guy that tried to break into or like try to sneak into one of his fundraisers and said that it was a US Marshal, and this guy put out a post like an hour before saying that he had to go do some business, and if he never comes back to remember that uh the president Donald J. Trump is gonna lead the country to whatever. And I was just like,
Right.
dude, what a fucking nut job. Like you're gonna go shoot a
Yeah.
presidential candidate because like I like but like it's the same thing, dude. Like I feel like I feel like both sides are literally gonna ruin this country. And like that's why I'm starting
Yeah.
this podcast
I think
because
I think that we touched on this before, didn't we? And as an outsider,
Tea party.
my my view on American politics is somewhat limited to what I see on X, right, or Twitter, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. And I'll be honest, it looks like a shit show on there, but I don't know because I'm not on the ground and I don't know. I'm not over there, so who knows whatever they're serving, whatever content they want to serve me. But I do believe that, and this isn't probably exclusive to America, but one of the main problems got every government set up is that, and I think we touched on this when me and you were having a chat last week, whereby they're far too busy fighting against each other and trying to stay in power than actually driving in one direction to kind of drive positive change. It's like if you set up any business, right? If you had any company in the world, and like let's say Amazon or Tesla, and you came in one day and said, right, we're going to divide the whole company into two teams. This team has one agenda and this team has another agenda, and you've got to try and push your agendas, right? And we're going to make it a big battle. And let's see how the company does this year. It's going to go to shit
Yeah.
because no one's supporting each other, and everyone is just really interested in shit canning the other team and driving their own agenda. Like you can't run a good for a good business to be profitable and to run well. Everyone's got to be on board, right? No matter who's in charge, we've all got to be on board and kind of support it and drive shit in the same direction, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just gonna it's just gonna be a mess. So I don't see that's my view, right? I don't know.
I would say
That's just
that's pretty
my
accurate.
view on politics as a whole. I just think there's far too much infighting, and like, when is that ever going to lead to positive outcomes? Like, I can't imagine, like, when I worked in corporate, when I was, in like middle management, if I was sitting there giving a presentation and then some of the other managers were just going, "Oh, that's a load of shit." Like, how am I ever going to get the rest of the team on board to drive a positive result for the business?
Yeah, I mean you're not. And like that for me is honestly I feel like it and this is a complete conspiracy theory. Like I've went down that rabbit hole a little bit, and like some of it I feel like is complete horseshit, and the other stuff I'm like, I can absolutely see that being true, but it's like I feel like they know what they're doing. They don't want to ever find a middle ground because as long as they keep everybody so pissed off, like the left hate the right and the right hate the left, like perfect. They remain in power. Like why would they ever want anything to change? And so it's like, I mean, if you look at that, it's like it kind of goes back to like we kind of touched on the Tucker Carlson. He was talking to Vladimir Putin and like all this shit that's going on. It's like you can hate Vladimir Putin all you want, but like he said on there that he wants peace. Okay, well, why don't you sit him down with Biden and see if we can have a ceasefire? And is he talking out his ass or is he serious? Like that's worth a fucking conversation, you know?
But that's why I think, as much as, like, say what you want about Trump, right? But you look at the state of the world when he was in charge of America, he was more domestic focused, right? Trump was, he was all about, like, let's fix, because you seem to have enough problems, right? He was like, let's fix America, and
Yeah.
there wasn't all this kind of global conflict going on at the time, right? I feel like the rest of them, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't really have a horse in the race, right? I'm not American.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
have to live there. Like, for me, I do think whoever you put in charge has got to really try and focus on sorting some of the shit out domestically first before worrying about spending billions and billions of dollars on, you know, international issues, and and also investing so much in, like, arms and the military and all that stuff. Like, you got mad problems over there at the moment with, all sorts of things going on.
But like that was kind of one of the like rabbit holes I went down is like, yeah, you're not American or whatever, but like where things are kind of going, I feel like all these people are talking about like World War III and all this stupid shit, and it's like, I mean, if we can't get the children to stop fighting and like let some grown ass adults in there and we have conversations and like, like that's the one thing that like, I really do feel like America can actually do something because I mean I don't know, like that's what the Constitution was based on is giving the power to the people. But the problem is like you also give them iPhones, and now we're fucked. It's like you can't get anybody to put an iPhone down, dude. Like I swear, so you say that you're an extrovert. Like you go out to a park or you go out to a concert or you go out to like anything. Like I mean, I don't know how it is in Australia, but like when I go out, it's like all I see is people like this is all they're
Yeah,
doing. And it's like, dude, like yeah,
and that's
congratulations.
ultimately, well, that's what, if you're an iPhone app developer, that's exactly what you want, right? You don't get, they're designed to take your attention. But like, I think the smartphone was the best and worst invention of the century. It's great for some things, but I just think, I don't want to go too deep on this really, but I do think that we were in a better place before people had, you know, access to all this stuff in their pocket, because it's just divided a lot of people and ultimately made people a lot less social.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that for sure. Like, I've watched a couple of different interviews where people are talking about like, life back in like the like late '80s or like early '90s, like that's
Right.
when I was born and stuff. And so like, I'm getting, like I started going like flashbacks, and they start talking about like these different like CARES Act and like all this stuff that like people like they had things in place so that people could not push an agenda. Like you had to just tell the facts, and like people could make up their own idea about things. And like I don't know, like I I don't know how we lost that. Like obviously, like I started going down a political rabbit hole, and like all these things that like happened, like 9/11, and then like anything after that, especially during COVID, like more and more of our rights just kind of like go out the window, and it's just I feel like people just need to have conversations like this, and like hopefully somebody watches this, and like maybe it'll spark an idea, and like that's all it takes. If there's one other dude out there doing podcasts like this, and one maybe two people has an idea or whatever, like it can make a difference. But
Yeah, it's easy to get. So many people went down rabbit holes, don't they? And people do it, like, especially with the COVID thing and politics, this and that. And I don't know. I can rant for hours on this stuff. I always got an opinion, or I can give views, but definitely in my spare time, I don't give it too much thought because the bottom line is you build up whatever opinion you want. Like you're not gonna, I feel, and this is just my opinion. Like me individually, I could sit there. I remember I had friends who like went through the COVID thing and they were just ranting and sharing information and the government are trying to do this and that, and I was like, yeah, brilliant, mate, but fuck, spending loads of time on this is not going to make me money. You know, I'd rather, I'd rather sit around and work on my playbook.
yeah, I mean, who knows though? Because maybe I go down like a little rabbit hole with this for a little bit. And I'm like, man, I should have listened to Meta back on episode 1. And all right, I'm done with this shit. I'm gonna my playbook. Like I don't know, but like right now, like it I don't know, it interests me. And plus, I get to have good conversations. I already got like 5 or 6 people
Oh,
lined up for the podcast, and so I'm like, and like most of them, like I said, I get to talk to you. I have J Trader, Laser Wolf. I was talking to
yes,
JJ Fade, and so like,
we get some good chats coming on. I'll
yeah,
definitely watch. Uh, I'll definitely be interested to watch and see what people are saying, especially about the trading stuff.
yeah,
Um,
well,
in,
like that
yeah,
that's where I want to. I don't want to go down. Like I got fired up for the political stuff, but like, dude, that's like a very, very tiny piece of my life. Like, really, like the only reason I'm so invested in it is because I just want them to shut the hell up so I can go back to living my life. Like, I care about day trading, real estate, like people that are building up businesses. Like, I would like to, like promote their business and like, do that kind of stuff, and like just have good conversation with people that think somewhat like me and have good
yeah,
conversation. That's
yeah.
awesome. If I can
Yeah.
get a following on that,
And
that's
it's
cool as
good to
shit.
have good to have the opportunity to connect because one of the biggest challenges of being a full-time trader is that it really is quite an isolating job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It does connection opportunities. So it's nice to, speak to people in the space and throw ideas around and, just talk to people about, talk with people who get it, right? Like you turn up at a party, mate, if you start talking trading at a party, like it's going to go.
Dude, I do I like really my wife is like a more like she calls me more because she's from Colombia, and it's love, and she's always like, more, please, no more trading stock. We're at a
Yeah,
party. I'm like, fuck this stock, you don't understand. Like, oh, the extension on that was beautiful. I'm like, I should have fucking
yeah, exactly. If you go too deep, people just literally just glaze over, man, because it doesn't make
oh,
any sense. Like it doesn't make any sense to people. Like they don't understand, you know,
yeah.
um, they don't understand tape reading or parabolic extensions. They
Yeah.
don't. They don't know.
Yeah, but
And
that's the best thing though, is these podcasts are for me. Like these are 100% for me. Like if anybody else finds enjoyment out of this, cool. I'm super happy you found enjoyment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But if nobody does,
uh,
I am super freaking happy just doing this shit on my own. So.
Yeah, it's good, mate. It's
But
good.
like on another note, I'm always down for like good conversation and stuff. You ever get bored and you need somebody to talk to, you hit me up like, dude, I got this trading idea. Like, like you want to hit up do a Zoom and we can kind of go over it. Like, I am 110% down for that anytime.
Yeah, link up on Discord or WhatsApp. I tell you what, I don't tend to. It's funny, and that's why I'm not really in any chat rooms anymore. Because what I found is the longer I traded, the more value I got from just kind of working on in my own little kind of
Bubble.
shell.
That's where I'm
Because
going to now.
I don't, so I come in the morning now. I've got my scan set up how I want. So I've got my macro scan, which gives me like a list of X amount of tickers for the day, which
Uh-huh.
are maybe setting up how I like, and then I drill that down. About an hour before the open, I start looking. I kind of start properly looking at it and seeing, okay, well, this one's setting up, this one isn't, and whatnot, and then pretty much just spend like the next hour just going through them and then just setting up with ideas for, okay, where am I going to get in? How am I going to play it? Where's my stop going to be? And that's it. And because I guess even though I've taken ideas, I found chat rooms like really valuable. Like shout J Trader, I still use like the J lines and stuff like that. So all that stuff was like immensely valuable to me in my trading. But now it's like
You found you.
I'm just doing my thing, and not I don't really want anyone else's input. It's not really valuable to me because how I'm playing this is it's just my system. It's just how I'm doing things, and what I do find value in is going through outside of market hours with people. Talking about, hey, this is how I played this and this idea, and or like, what did you play today, or what are the things that we're sometimes maybe working on a setup with someone else, like, I've got an idea, what do you think,
Yeah.
and getting outside impact outside of market hours when I'm doing my analysis and review and new idea generation. Whereas when it's like pre-market or just hour after open, I like to have it nice and quiet and just kind of get on with it and
Yeah, like
execute.
I'm learning how to do swing trading with JJ Fade, and so like I'm brand new, so it's gonna take me a while to like actually have like any sort of knowledge that goes with any of that shit. But like because it's completely different than small caps. But like I started learning how to do that kind of stuff. Like that would be kind of more of your style.
More 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 kind of my wheelhouse now. Yeah,
Yeah.
more days. I mean, I'm still not really. I'm kind of working towards the swing. I still, for me, swing is like 1, 2, 3 days.
No,
You know,
that's all I want. I'm not trying to do like month-long swings or any of that shit. Like I'm talking like two
I,
or 3 days. Like
I don't like through drawdowns,
man,
and I
dude, like
like
that would give me anxiety. Like for real. I'd be like, oh my God, dude, this thing just gapped down. Like oh my God. Like I'd freak.
yeah, and then you've got like the holding big positions overnight and stuff like that, and like sometimes you can get you know news might come. No, you got to know what you're holding, haven't you, if you're swing trading, because intraday risk and overnight risk can be very different.
Yeah. Like
So
I never really did get into this in small caps, but like so do you ever swing short on large caps?
um, rarely,
Rarely.
but rarely, but a lot of that is also down to the market we've been in, mate.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
I've been trading probably. I started trading mid caps, large caps in the last 2 years.
oh, okay,
Um,
okay,
and if you look at the SPY over the last 2 years, I mean,
yeah,
for the most part, it's been going straight up. So I just don't think there's what I've found is that certainly in this type of market there isn't a great deal of edge. Like I've tried swinging short, but it's rarely worked out. I'm usually end up. Do you know what I mean? I'm usually end up taking just cutting my gains or like taking stops and stuff like that. So um,
Well,
certainly in.
I was asking for like because well then I remembered like you don't have to pay for like locate fees or anything like that. So like whether you're
Uh,
swinging short or swinging long, I guess it wouldn't really matter at all with large caps, does it?
doesn't really matter. But I just think in a bull market there's more edge,
Well,
and
yeah.
in
Yeah.
what I've observed, it's easier to get follow through, swinging to the long side. On some of these like high beta names
Yeah.
that make big runs. I think I found that the surprise of getting, I never thought it would go up that far, has been much more common for me than, oh wow, I never realized it would drop this much. Usually it's like I'm expecting it to drop to a certain level and it's just kind of wicked up, and then on the daily, for example, and then so obviously, when we're in a bear market, which I've actually never traded for mid caps. When was the last proper bear market? I mean, so
Like really, I started trading in like 2019, and so like I came in like right right when all the shit like started going crazy, and so I mean
let's
I
have a look.
wanted
So I mean, we did have a bit of a correction in 2022 for a while, but mostly it's been, the market's been pretty much going straight up since November last year. And before that, we had a bit of a pullback, but I wouldn't call it,
a bear
it
market.
wasn't even a 20% pullback. So, so I wouldn't, I don't know what constitutes a bear market, but we pulled back maybe between July and November last year. We pulled back, about about 15%, just under.
Well,
But but yeah, um, I just find the long side easier for mid caps, big caps. To be honest,
like
I think
most
because most
most of the
of them
stuff that
going
I
up.
watch, they're all buying like large caps because like small caps, it gaps and they almost all always get back their whole gap, and so like
Yeah,
that's the part of my brain I'm gonna have to turn off, like learning how to swing trade because it's like, I mean, if even if I did swing short, I mean, what am I gonna go to? Like the next, I guess the next support, like that, it's not gonna be the ground, it's like what am I gonna swing to,
yeah. Most of the moves that I'm playing to the long side in, let's say, and it's not essentially all mid caps. Like I'm still trading stuff that's might be a small cap, but if it's held its, so maybe it's gapped up, but then it's held its gains and it's pulled in and it's still trading decent liquidity. Yeah, I'll long that too. But most of the names that I am playing, yeah, there's some kind of either short or long term catalyst. A lot of what I've been playing has been,
Sector.
AI related, AI blockchain, the semis. Been long in a lot of those, and then maybe some of the ones that are, just shorter term catalysts or newer catalysts, like the weed stocks have been running last couple of days, haven't they?
That,
Um,
that's what got me into trading at the very beginning was the weed stocks started going off, and I was just like, wait, what? You can buy weed stocks? And like I remember I threw like $300 into a thing, and like overnight I doubled my money. I was like, holy shit. I was like, trading's easy. And then I blew it
Trading's
all.
easy.
And then I was just like, wait, you can make money when a stock goes down, and then the next you know, I ended
Yeah.
up in J traders, and well, here we are.
Yeah, I almost exclusively shorted for a few years. Like I literally just shorted everything. But the market was really hot for shorting at the time, and um, you know, and small caps, you're right, it's different. Like most of the time, most of them are, you just got companies putting out fluff PRs to raise funds and sell stock, isn't it? So
Yeah, unless you
ultimately,
get screwed in the black
look
swan,
long
and
term chart, them are just going down.
yeah. Well, anyways, like are you mostly just on X, or like do you have any
Yeah,
like
yeah. I'm mostly on X. I do speak to a few people on Discord, but I don't use it. I don't use it as much as I used to. So I'm kind of just doing my own thing a lot. What's my X handle? At Metagame Trading. That's me on X.
yeah, meta so
So
how'd you come up with like metagame? Like you just like start thinking about
no,
like
really.
how much it just like messes with your mind, like trading, like
So a meta game is like the game within the game, you
okay.
know. And I thought it was a good, and I hope that's the correct definition. I think it's something along those lines. But I thought it was a good analogy for trading, right? Because you got the game of trading, right? And everyone looks at it and you go, "Oh, trading," and then you get into it and you realize
Oh,
there's a game, right? Where there's this manipulation game going on, and you've got essentially the people moving the stock, and what you thought was happening is actually not what's happening, you know.
always adapt.
And you've
Yeah.
these players who are moving, moving stock prices in one direction or another to, basically find liquidity or
Move money. How I look at it is like they're just moving money all over the damn place. Like it's just
yeah,
I don't know. It's crazy. Like you start diving into. I remember Steve told me a story about a guy that he was trading like coffee beans or something like that, and like there was like a horrible freeze in Brazil or something like that, and like he had just he was I think no, he had a huge position, and he woke up in the middle of the night because Steve said that I go off my gut a lot. He's like this guy like literally could not sleep. He's like, man, like something about that position doesn't seem good. He got up in the middle of the fucking night and like closed out his position. The next day he woke up and like he would have like lost everything if he kept
yeah. Wow.
if he kept that on. I was just like, damn, dude, like
Question.
I don't know anything about like I guess I guess that'd be considered like a future, right? Like futures it would be like coffee,
Yeah, yeah,
all that kind
yeah.
of stuff. Like so he's a futures trader, but like he was telling me all sorts of these guys that because like that was my big thing at the very beginning is like I would I don't know, I'd see stuff and like I just I went off my gut is like what Steve said was gonna be my best asset, but like that's why I do shit like this. Like I just get a gut feeling. I'm like, oh, this sounds like fun, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I just do whatever the hell I want to do whenever I want to, and it's worked out so far.
yeah. Figuring out who you are, isn't it? And what you're good at.
But anyways, man, I'm gonna hop off and go take a
Yeah.
shower and let you enjoy your, I guess Wednesday. Yeah,
Beach. Yeah, man. I'm gonna probably go and have a swim at the beach and chill out a bit, and then go to the gym.
that's what's up. Well, hey man, I really appreciate you getting on and having a good chat with me. So
Yeah,
I'll send you
chat,
the
mate.
send you the video over and yeah, hopefully I'll talk to you again soon, man.
Nice one. Chat soon, brother.
Later, man.